Tim has taken the kids off to school, and I thought I would take the opportunity of that incredible peace in this house to speak to Nokalina about your day and how you prepare now going forward.
Excuse you. So on Tuesdays I don't have consultations. So usually at this time I'm trying to get some sleep because I'm with the baby all night. I'm breastfeeding on demand, so that means essentially I can sleep anything between 4 to 1 hour at night. Yeah.
Exhausting.
It's still that difficult time because he's only 17 weeks old, so it's quite tiring. So on days that I don't have consultations, when I'm not disappearing off to my ndumba, I'm trying to rest and trying to catch up with the rest of our life. Tim and I work together. We have a business, so I try to do kind of like the back end stuff for it every Tuesday, and then we also shoot a little series. A fun little series on Tuesdays as well. And I do everything else that I can't get done when I have consultations on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
So tell us more about your consultations, how this calling found you, and how you picked it up.
It just found me, really. I don't know how to explain. It's been such a long time since that first feeling, and I've been a sangoma for so long now. It's been almost 12 years, and so my whole adult life I've been a sangoma, so it's just so integrated into my life that it's difficult to even know what would be interesting for people to know, because it's just such a, it's my whole thing, it's my whole life.
And traditionally, I mean, obviously you couldn't have consultations via Skype.
Yes.
But now you do that. So tell us about the sort of changes that you've learnt and heard about and the way sangomas operate today.
Well, the only difference is that now the friction of distance has been lessened by technology. So that enables us as izangoma, doctors, artists, practitioners, whatever, to do our work in the global village, so to speak. So there's nothing special or different about what I'm doing. Just like how before you would have to send a letter by post and it could take 3 weeks to get there. Now we can quickly send an email or even make a phone call, make a video call, and you can see people in real time, no matter where they are in the world. We just kind of, that's just the world we live in. So it would only make sense to integrate technology into my practice, because I've integrated technology into every other part of my life.
And how do you monetize this business? And tell me a little bit more about the products that you sell as well.
So my consultations don't run as a business. They run on an offering basis. Obviously, people offer what they can, and I do set kind of a guideline for people to be able to get a sense of what they are able to offer, and I've got different calendars for different levels of offering, and so that doesn't run as a business. But I do have products that I make, natural products from indigenous herbs. I've got honeys, tinctures, I've got a dream journal that I make, just like in line with the work that I do, so that people are able to almost like manage themselves and assist themselves with the products that I have, so that they don't have to keep coming back to me for basic things.
And tell me what you learn about people in the work that you do, and what it says about what's happening here in South Africa at the moment.
I think working in the city has given me quite a lot of insight into the perpetual state of crisis that capitalism causes in people's lives. People are unstable, they're uncertain, they're anxious, they're self-doubting, and these are all manifestations of the crisis of capitalism and how dehumanizing ultimately capitalism is, because it makes everybody feel as if they're not consuming or participating at a certain economic level, they are not worthy to be alive, to be loved, to receive joy, and to even take a break, basic things like that. So I'm learning a lot about the impact of capitalism on individuals and the kind of like psychological effect of consumerism into in people's spiritual lives as well. And I'm also learning a lot about the resilience also of community, because I can see the difference in people who come from some sort of a community and people who are isolated in the city, and what that does for their spiritual well-being.
And being a sangoma, I mean, is it a hard sell to...
I need to hand them over. Sure. Yeah.
Being a sangoma, is it a tough sell for some communities? I mean, do you find that there's still a lack of understanding from people who don't know where it comes from and how it can benefit people?
I honestly find that there's a willful ignorance about it, especially in the city, which is something that's very, very frustrating, because everybody wants to keep the conversation about our spiritual practices and cultural norms kind of at the back end of what is considered normal. Do you know what I mean? So every single time it's like, okay, so what exactly is, and it's just like, guys, we're all in Africa, you know, we all come from some kind of community or another. So you can't tell me that at this point in 2019, after all of these years, all of these people being initiated, all of the funerals and weddings and things that you've attended at home, you still don't understand particular basics about where our cultures stand. You know, so I find that there's a willful ignorance that lives in the minds of people who want to debate things for the sake of debate and not really wanting to give space for our African beliefs, our spirituality, our cultures to take their rightful place alongside Eurocentric norms and standards of living and identifying and spirituality. So it's not so much that there's like a lack of understanding. I think it's quite willful and deliberate as well.
How do you work when you're practicing? What do you use?
I have two modalities that I use for divination. I use water and fire, as in candles, not like I don't conjure fire. I have candles and water, and then, which is for my gift of ubuthandazi, propheti, and then for my gift of ubungoma, I use the bones. So on certain days, I work as a mthandazi or a prophet, and then on other days, I work as a sangoma. Which is essentially, there's similar practices, and both require initiation, both are callings and all of that, but because I've been gifted in both modalities, I use both.